Hey girl, hey! So here is the first part of the Dear Matthew section. I put on a face for you guys. Someone on Twitter told me to do gold, so since I'm wearing orange today, I did orange and gold. Hope you like it. So I'm going to answer as many of these as I can and as quickly as possible too. I've got under 10 minutes. Dear Matthew, if you could only eat one more meal for the rest of your life, what would you eat? Signed, Rose. Well, Rose, if I had to pick one meal to eat for the rest of my life, I would choose Kabuki's hibachi chicken because their chicken and fried rice and vegetable salad and soup are delicious whenever it's my birthday and anniversary or just a time to go celebrate. That is one of my favorite restaurants, which is in my hometown. It's a lot like Shogun, but they all know me by name. I used to be able to just call up and be like, hey, it's Matthew. Oh, hello, Matthew, hibachi chicken. And I'd be like, yes, ma'am, please. So lovely, lovely people. So that's what I would choose. Okay, let's see. Dear Matthew, years and years ago, you made an icon for my live journal, which was way cool. Are you still into graphic arts? This was way back when we were in high school. Just wondering if you had left that behind or if you were still practicing and if you'd gotten any better. Signed, Lindsay. Hey, Lindsay. I still periodically do graphics. Mostly it's for Facebook or Twitter and used to be MySpace, but I deleted my account because I was never on it. I do remember making you that icon, as a matter of fact. I don't really do that as much anymore now. I try to not Photoshop as much, and I try to concentrate more on just perfecting the makeup, so I have to do minimal touching up as far as editing goes, but who knows, we'll see. That's just not something that I'm as into anymore. Music video-wise, now I love me some special effects with that. Dear Matthew, what's your favorite childhood memory? Sarah. That's a very good question, Sarah. I wish I could pick more than one. I haven't really thought about this. Probably the Christmases at my former house. We used to have family from Florida and Tennessee and even in the Alabama area come and spend, and it was really cool because my cousins and I always wanted to sleep near each other while the adults were sleeping. We had a relatively larger house. It was 5 bedrooms, and so the adults all coupled off and slept in different rooms. So the cousins, we would sleep on the staircase. Not actually on the stairs, but our staircase had an area where one of my cousins laid. Then we had the foyer, and I would sleep in the hallway along with my other cousin, Hannah. And I remember one of those times, Hannah had learned a bad word. She was 4 and I was 8. And we walked into our grandparents' room, and she goes, turn on that damn light. And I remember being like, oh, woo-woo, Hannah, you said a bad word. I'm going to go tell on you. So I went and told everybody what she had said. And my grandmother looks at me and she goes, well, Matthew, we didn't hear Hannah say the word, but you just said it. I think we need to wash your mouth out with soap. And I said, no, Hannah said it, not me. And of course she lied and said she didn't. So my grandmother actually made me go and get the Dial soap from the bathroom to wash my mouth out with it. And I remember taking a handful of Starburst afterwards to eat to get the flavor out, and it was just absolutely disgusting. I hated that. I was so mad at my grandmother for that. But Christmas, definitely. Dear Matthew, thanks so much for the update on the beauty channel. This time I'm asking for an advice for my personal life. I have a friend who's a guy and we've been friends for 7 years. Somewhere along the way, I kind of fell for him. I didn't want to bluntly express my feelings, so I tried flirting and he flirted back. It's been at this stage for about 2 years, but he recently started dating this girl who has no respect for him. How do I show him at least that she isn't the one without scaring him away? Signed, Alice. Actually, love Alice. Alice, I have recently come under the conclusion that life is far too short to hold back your feelings for people, for things, ideas, etc. A lot of this, I think, comes with age, your surrounding, and just how comfortable you are being outspoken. I feel as though if you like somebody, then you should be able to tell them. And it doesn't always go the way that we planned. Of course, sometimes you say, I love you, and the feeling is not mutual. Sometimes you say it, and they're like, oh my God, this is the best thing in the world. A lot of times I find in my friends' relationships, it's easier to see something from the outside than it is to be aware of it from the inside. Meaning, your friend and whomever he's dating, he'll probably not understand where you're coming from because he's on the inner portion of it, and all he is going by is his emotions because he's happy with that person right now. Of course, you're not happy with this whole situation. So it'll seem as though maybe you're attacking him or that you're jealous, but really it's not like that at all. It's just that you can see that she doesn't have any respect for him as a whole. So what I would suggest you do is find some time to talk to him and start the mood off on a happy note. Just talk about random things that you've talked about in the past, and then kind of move and say, you know, what is it that you feel she brings to your relationship? Does she truly make you happy, or do you think that in the long run you're going to end up very unhappy with her? Probably, guys, we have this ego thing. We're not going to admit that we're upset a lot of times. Well, I will. I'll just go on YouTube and talk about it and be like, oh. But I think a lot of times our ego gets in the way and we're like, no, I'm totally fine. Everything's fine. You don't know what you're talking about. But give him some food for thought. Give him some things to think about. You don't necessarily have to tell him that you like him, have a crush or feelings for him. But you could just say, you know, as a friend, I feel as though she doesn't treat you in a respectable manner, and I hope that you're able to accept that and maybe open up your eyes and see that for yourself. Dear Matthew, what things do you like to do besides your own makeup, hobbies and such? Signed, Kimmy. Kimmy, I have recently been big into my PlayStation 3, and I pointed that out on one of my previous vlogs. It's no longer here. Let me tell you why. I was dancing to Christina Aguilera's song, Not Myself Tonight, and I kind of did a little like that, knocked over my PlayStation 3. It's totally fine. It's got a little scratch on it, which I'm really pissed off about because I just bought it about 2 weeks ago. And it kind of made me think maybe I should have done that $80 damage thing where if something happens to it, you can take it back to Best Buy and they'll replace it or whatever. Luckily, Jesus was on my side and he didn't kill it, but I like to play video games. I don't seem like a video game type, but I love Resident Evil, Mortal Kombat, Tekken, Mario, Dance Dance Revolution. Pump It Up is my favorite. I don't know where that came from, but I remember when I worked at a movie theater, we had a Pump It Up system. And I like doing my hair. I know it's kind of beauty related, but I always have fun doing my hair. And I love to shop, although I need to stop because I'm running out of money. And hanging out with friends, that would probably be the biggest. I've made a lot of new friends in this new town that I live in, and I miss so many of my friends from back home. Although I'm only an hour away, whenever I get to spend time with them and just play games or talk or especially recount the past, that's like my favorite thing to do. Sorry, my phone was ringing. So it would definitely have to be hanging out with friends as the top one. Dear Maddie Fran, since you are wonderful with makeup, I want to ask you what the best way to do my eyeshadow is. Not only do I wear glasses, but I also have slanted eyes. Not necessarily Asian, but they've been described to me as alien pretty. Signed, Vivian. Vivian, it's all about looking at yourself and studying how much eye space you actually have. I'll use myself as an example. Whenever I'm looking directly at you, and this is usually about eye level, you can see what color I have on my lid. You can see my crease color and underneath my eyebrow. Darker colors recede, it brings things back, and lighter things help separate. They bring things forward. So when looking at your eye space, determine what areas need to be darker and where you should place a little bit of that darkness. One of my techniques that I do on myself all the time is, even though it looks like I probably have on just 3 eye colors, I actually have on a gold on the inner corner called Woodwinked. I have Fire Spot on my lid, which is a limited edition color. I have Handwritten on the outer corner here. I have the Barbie Brown, I can't remember what it was, but we'll just call it Embark, or Foley, in my crease. And then I have Blanc Type and Tita Tint in my highlight color. I'm all about blending. While it may not look like I have a whole bunch there, I really do. And so I've just learned that I like to do the outer corners really, really dark, the crease more of like a medium tone. Today's a little bit different. And lighter towards the lid and underneath the eyebrow. So just practice, lean your head back. I always pose whenever I'm doing my makeup. It looks really silly and it makes me seem like I'm conceited. But really, I'm just trying to see, because if I take pictures, you know, my face changes. Your eye shape changes over time, depending on how you're looking. So just study, study, study. Okay, so that's the last of that. I'm going to answer more questions in a second, but I'm out of time. Okay, bye.